Around 5:00 p.m. On September 19, 2024, a shooting rocked the border area between New Haven and West Haven, Connecticut, at Splash Car Wash, 2 Boston Post Road. The incident involved Jebrell Conley, a 36-year-old man identified as a longtime member of the Grape Street Crips gang, and the New Haven Police Department's Violent Crime Task Force. The shooting ended with Conley's death, marking a controversial event that sparked protests and raised questions about police use of force. To understand the case, we must trace the sequence of events, from the identification of the suspect to the tense pursuit and the aftermath that followed. To learn more about how this dramatic chase unfolded, let's follow the New Haven police team as they pursued and apprehended this troublemaker. Jebrell Conley, born in 1988, grew up in the Hill neighborhood, one of New Haven's toughest areas. His life was shaped by harsh circumstances. His father was incarcerated when Conley was young. His mother suffered from chronic illness, and his brother Tyrell was shot dead in 2003 when Conley was just 15. This loss, according to family and friends, pushed Conley into a life of crime, where he found protection and identity in the Grape Street Crips, a notorious branch of the Los Angeles-based Crips gang. Conley was no stranger to the justice system. In 2016, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison for federal drug trafficking. After his release, Conley joined Project Longevity, a New Haven initiative aimed at helping gang members leave crime through job support and counseling. However, Conley could not escape the cycle of violence. By 2024, he was accused of involvement in an armed robbery in Hamden on July 3, 2024, where Conley allegedly assaulted, pistol-whipped, and shot a victim to steal drugs and money. This incident led to a federal arrest warrant, making Conley a wanted target for law enforcement. In September 2024, the Violent Crime Task Force, comprising officers from the New Haven Police Department and a sergeant from the Connecticut State Police, received intelligence that Conley was moving in the New Haven area. This information came from a reliable source, possibly witnesses or surveillance systems, though specific details were not disclosed. Conley was reportedly driving a white Hyundai Tucson with New Jersey Y40 SND plates, and intelligence reports indicated he was likely carrying a dangerous weapon. To understand why Conley became a high-priority target, we must examine the incident that occurred on July 3, 2024 in Hamden, a neighboring town of New Haven. According to the federal indictment, Conley and several accomplices attacked a victim during a drug transaction. Conley was accused of using a firearm to strike the victim, firing a shot to intimidate, and stealing drugs and cash. This robbery not only injured the victim, but also solidified Conley's reputation as a serious threat in the eyes of law enforcement. Following the incident, a federal arrest warrant was issued, charging Conley with armed robbery and using a firearm in a violent crime. This warrant put Conley in the crosshairs of the Violent Crime Task Force, a unit specializing in cases involving gangs, drugs, and firearms. On September 19th, the task force, consisting of 11 members, was assigned to track and apprehend Conley before he could commit further crimes or flee the area. On the morning of September 19th, the Violent Crime Task Force met at the New Haven Police Department headquarters to plan their operation, based on intelligence. They determined Conley was likely to appear in the southern part of New Haven, near Ella T. Grasso Boulevard, an area known for criminal activity. The task force deployed patrol teams, using unmarked civilian and police vehicles to avoid detection by the suspect. The officers were equipped with bulletproof vests and standard weapons, including handguns and rifles. Some officers also wore body cameras, a mandatory requirement for task force operations in Connecticut following recent police reforms. The task force was led by Sergeant Francisco Sanchez, a veteran New Haven officer, and included Sergeant Colin Richter from the Connecticut State Police and Officer Michael Valenti, a newer member with experience in apprehension operations. By around 4:30 p.m., a patrol team spotted the white Hyundai Tucson with New Jersey Y40 SND plates near Ella T. Grasso Boulevard. After confirming the plate matched the intelligence, the task force deployed additional units to the area. They decided to follow the vehicle from a safe distance, avoiding direct confrontation until a safe opportunity for apprehension arose. The vehicle moved west toward the New Haven-West Haven border and stopped at Splash Car Wash on Boston Post Road. This was a public location with heavy vehicle and pedestrian traffic, forcing the task force to proceed cautiously. They assessed that Conley might be meeting someone or stopping for personal business, but did not rule out the possibility that he was preparing for criminal activity. When the Hyundai Tucson stopped in the car wash area, the task force decided to act. 3 unmarked patrol vehicles, along with a police car equipped with lights, quickly surrounded Conley's vehicle. Officers exited their vehicles, drew their weapons, and ordered Conley to raise his hands and exit the car. The officers shouted, "Police hands up, don't move." According to the preliminary report, Conley did not comply. Instead, he entered the vehicle, closed the door, and started the engine. An officer attempted to open the driver's side door but was unsuccessful. Conley reversed the vehicle at high speed, crashing into a patrol car behind him, causing it to shake. In the chaotic moment, a gunshot rang out, and the driver's side window of the Hyundai shattered. The Inspector General's report stated that Conley fired a single shot from a handgun toward the officers. In response to Conley's gunshot, 3 officers, Sergeant Colin Richter, Sergeant Francisco Sanchez, and Officer Michael Valente returned fire. In total, they fired at least 16 rounds within seconds. The bullets pierced the Hyundai's windows and body, striking Conley in the torso and upper right extremity. Conley fell out of the vehicle, lying motionless on the ground, as officers continued to shout, "Don't move! Hands up!" An emergency medical team was quickly called to the scene. Officers began providing first aid, but Conley had lost significant blood. He was transported to Yale New Haven Hospital, just minutes from the scene, but was pronounced dead at 5:45 p.m. The subsequent autopsy determined the cause of death as gunshot wounds to the torso and upper right extremity. Classified as a homicide, police cordoned off the Splash Car Wash area, disrupting traffic on Boston Post Road. Investigators collected evidence, including a handgun with a high-capacity magazine found near Conley's body. The gun, later identified as stolen from Waterbury, had jammed after firing 1 round, possibly explaining why Conley did not continue shooting. Additionally, glass fragments from the vehicle's window, shell casings, and Conley's personal items were collected for analysis. No officers were injured in the incident, but 2 New Haven officers, Sanchez and Valente, were taken to the hospital for psychological evaluation per standard protocol. Sergeant Richter, from the Connecticut State Police, returned to his unit shortly after but was required to participate in the Inspector General's investigation. In initial reports, all 3 officers who fired stated they felt their lives and those of their colleagues were threatened when Conley fired the first shot. Sergeant Sanchez, positioned near the driver's side window, reported hearing the gunshot and seeing the window shatter, leading him to believe Conley was attacking. Officer Valente, positioned behind the vehicle, stated he fired to protect other officers. Sergeant Richter, with a view from the right side of the vehicle, confirmed he saw Conley holding a gun before returning fire. Other officers at the scene, who did not fire, provided similar accounts, emphasizing that Conley did not comply with orders and acted aggressively. However, no officer confirmed clearly seeing Conley aim his gun at anyone. Due to the speed of the event and limited visibility caused by vehicles and dust, the Connecticut Office of the Inspector General, an independent agency responsible for investigating police-involved shootings, immediately took over the case. They collected video footage from the body cameras of 5 officers and a civilian witness's cell phone video. These videos, released on September 23rd, depicted the incident from multiple angles. The preliminary report, released on October 31st, concluded there was no clear evidence of serious misconduct by the officers. The Inspector General confirmed that Conley fired a single shot, and the officers acted in a life-threatening situation. However, the report emphasized that the investigation was ongoing, with forensic analyses of bullet trajectories, fingerprints on the gun, and Conley's call history to determine his motives and the circumstances leading to the incident. Conley's family, including his mother, siblings, and children, rejected the police's account. They insisted Conley was not someone who would shoot at officers and suspected the body camera footage was edited to obscure the truth. In an interview with the New Haven Independent, Conley's sister, Janelle, said, "Jebrell was a father, a brother, not just a criminal as they portray him. If he shot, it was because he felt cornered. The family demanded the release of all footage, including audio, and held a memorial at Splash Car Wash on September 26th. They also hired an attorney to explore a potential civil lawsuit against the New Haven Police Department, alleging excessive use of force and violation of Conley's rights. Conley's killing sparked tension in the New Haven community, particularly in the Hill neighborhood, where many residents feel police unfairly target people of color. On September 26th, about 50 people, including Conley's family, friends, and activists, protested at Splash Car Wash and the New Haven Police Department. They carried signs reading "Justice for Jebrell" and demanded transparency in the investigation. Activists, including members of Black Lives Matter New Haven, compared the incident to other police-involved cases nationwide, emphasizing that such shootings often raise more questions than answers. However, some residents, particularly those living near the incident site, supported the police's actions, viewing Conley as a clear danger to the community. New Haven Police Chief Carl Jacobson and Mayor Justin Elliker held a press conference on September 20th to address the incident. Jacobson emphasized that the officers acted to protect themselves and the public, while confirming no retaliatory threats had been received from the Grape Street Crips gang. He also personally contacted Conley's mother, expressing condolences and committing to a transparent investigation. Mayor Elliker urged the community to remain calm and await the official investigation's findings. He also announced plans to enhance police training on de-escalation techniques to prevent similar incidents in the future. Sergeant Sanchez and Officer Valente were placed on paid administrative leave immediately after the incident, per New Haven Police Department policy. However, following the Inspector General's preliminary report on October 31st, both were cleared to return to full duty. Sergeant Richter, from the Connecticut State Police, was not suspended but was required to participate in additional investigative interviews. All three officers underwent psychological evaluations to ensure they were fit to resume duty. The New Haven Police Department also held internal briefings to review the task force's operational procedures, particularly approaches to dangerous suspects in public settings. The incident involving Jebrell Conley was not an isolated event, but part of a broader issue of gun violence and gang activity in New Haven. Despite a population of only about 135,000, the city has faced high violent crime rates for decades. Gangs like the Grape Street Crips, Tree Bloods, and Island Brothers control various areas. Competing in drug and weapons trafficking, Project Longevity, which once supported Conley, has achieved some success in reducing violence but cannot fully address root causes like poverty, lack of job opportunities, and systemic racism. Conley's killing highlighted the challenges of balancing law enforcement with building community trust. Though no direct testimony from Conley exists, details of his life offer clues about the mindset behind his actions on September 19th. As a survivor of a violent environment, Conley may have felt cornered when surrounded by police. His possession of a stolen handgun and firing a shot could reflect desperation or a defensive instinct. Though this does not justify his actions, Conley's family claimed he was trying to change, evidenced by his care for his children and support for his mother. However, the allegations tied to the Hamden robbery suggest he remained entangled in crime, possibly due to gang pressures or financial needs. The killing of Jebrell Conley was a tragedy not only for his family, but also for the New Haven community and the police force. For the officers, Conley was a dangerous suspect, forcing split-second decisions to protect lives. For the community, the incident was a reminder of unhealed wounds tied to violence, race, and justice. The ongoing investigation will shed light on many details, but it cannot erase the pain of those involved. This case raises larger questions about how society addresses crime, reforms the justice system, and builds a safer community for all, while awaiting answers. New Haven continues to grapple with the legacies of violence and inequality, hoping to find a path toward reconciliation and change. That concludes today's case. Thank you for following along, and we hope you've enjoyed this journey. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to stay updated on the latest cases coming your way.